Hey, what's going on YouTube? So this is my first video. You guys are gonna have to excuse the camera motion because I'm doing this with my hands. So I wanted to give a review on this particular gun. This right here is the AK-47 made by Century Arms, or shipped in by Century Arms. So it is a Romanian AK variant, which is known as a Wasr-10. This right here is a model GP1063. I don't know what really goes into the several different models out there, 1063, 1088, and a couple of other ones that I don't know. But this is my review. I bought this gun February 6th. Here in California, there's a 10-day wait period. Had to wait 10 days. Finally able to get it on the 16th. Took it to the range, and only had about 20 minutes to feed it. Because the range was closing, and yeah, so we'll touch bases on that because it's regarding the different ammo that you see laying there on the ground. So let's go ahead and do a quick weapon inspection, get to the point, and give you my overall take on this gun. So first thing we're going to do is a weapon inspection, make sure that the gun is safe to handle. The one thing you don't want to do is turn around and shoot yourself or somebody else. So always check your weapons, please, for the love of God. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure that there is nothing inside the magazine well. As you can see, magazine sitting over there. There is nothing in the mag well, so it is safe. At that point, we're also going to go ahead and turn around and look down the barrel of the gun, just to validate that there is nothing in there. So down there you can clearly see nothing is in there. The other thing that we're going to do is I always like to visually and physically check. Because if you're having some feeding issues with your extractor, there could be a live round in there and you not know, go to dry fire the gun, not thinking that it's empty, and then shooting somebody or yourself. So always check those two things. Just like carpentry work, measure twice but cut once only, right? So get to the point. As you can kind of see, this particular model is a little different because I could not tolerate in looking at the wood finish the way it was. If you YouTube a bunch of videos and images of Wasr, they come with these blonde wood, non-finished pieces of wood that just look horrible. I mean, this one was actually relatively new. It looked brand new when I got the gun. This was really rough, and I can't say enough about the buttstock. It was almost to the point where if you run your finger across, there's a good chance you would get splinters. That's how bad the wood was. So I sanded it down myself. Started off 150 grit, 220, then I stopped at 320. Made it really nice and soft. Afterwards, I put on a red wood finish. Staining it, of course. Only did one coat, didn't want it too dark. And then between coats of my polyurethane, I used triple aught steel wool to sand it down, and it brings out that kind of luster look, which is what I was going for. I thought about replacing it with, plastic furniture, and I just decided not to. My buddy has one, and that's what his is, and it looks great. I have an AR-15 platform for that, so if I really want to get tactical, I could do it with that gun. I wanted to try to keep this one as authentic as possible. So, as you can see, I did the wood, and I replaced the donkey shit pistol grip that comes on them. Horrible. That's the best $22 you'll ever spend on this gun, is replacing that grip. The grip that it came with was just horrible. I can't say enough about that. So let's get on to the aesthetics of the gun. As you can clearly see, I've done some work to it. I didn't repaint any of the black surfaces. I kept that where it was. It's just the wood. I don't really care if there's a couple of little tiny marks in here, like you can kind of see here. There's a little one here along the dust cover. I mean, that just builds character to the gun, to be real. This stuff right here, it's not down to the metal. It just looks like it's probably got scratched during shipping. But again, it's just something that, I guess we all have to kind of live with. Some of you guys may sand it down, paint it. Feel free to. Paper targets that I shoot downrange. Don't care what the gun looks like. So, yeah, oops, forgot. Let's rotate it. So, there we go. So I added the cleaning rod. It didn't come with it. Most of them don't. If you got one that did, lucky you. I spent about $7 on that cleaning rod. Bought online. Fits perfect. So So let's get into some of the biggest complaints that you hear about the gun. The first thing is, of course, the finish. That's something you can easily do yourself if you want. If you're a do-it-yourself kind of guy or girl, feel free to do it. I did not fill in the wood, the metal marks, the nails that are holding the pieces together. Some guys do, some guys don't. It didn't really bother me. So I left it. I didn't want to putty over that and do all that other stuff, so I left that. That's what those are. So a couple of big complaints that you hear about the gun is canted front sights, canted gas blocks, magazine wobble, and of course the finish of the gun. So we already talked about finish. Let's move to the canted front sights. My gun doesn't have canted front sights. I visually inspect it when I purchase the gun. For those who are curious as to what it is, when you aim down the gun, I know it's going to be really kind of hard to see it. When you line it up and you raise up just a little bit, keeping the gun as straight as possible, you can look down and you can see if your sights are either leaning to the left or leaning to the right. This particular gun you can't see, but it does not have canted front sights. Also, looking down the barrel this way and kind of going up, you can see that it doesn't. The one thing that this gun does have is a small cant in the gas block. Is it a real big issue? No, because when I originally started inspecting the weapon, I noticed that it did have a small cant to it. So what I went ahead and did is I asked the guy if I could disassemble the gun to check some stuff into the internal mechanics of the gun to make sure that everything was good. 90% of the gun dealers out there will not let you do this. I have, I guess, a fairly decent relationship with the guy, and I told him I had cash in hand ready to buy. I just needed to verify some other parts. There was only 2 of these models in his store, and I wasn't going to wait a couple of weeks for him to get a new shipment. So he said, yeah, sure, go ahead. So I took it apart, checked the inside. This is a brand new Tapco piston, and I was given the action a couple of racks, did it about 20-30 times. As I was racking it, I was feeling up here to see if I could feel any scraping inside the gas block. Once I was done with that, I disassembled the gun and I looked at the piston. Perfectly fine, no scratching, nothing there. I also looked inside here, same thing, nothing. So that led me to believe that I wasn't going to have any issues in regarding firing the weapon, which in most cases is true. I didn't have any issues firing this weapon. Again, I only spent about 100 rounds, 20 minutes down range shooting, so I haven't given it a thorough break-in, but off of the 100 rounds, I can tell you that I didn't have this issue. Last thing is magazine wobble. Magazine is empty. This gun does have magazine wobble. 90% of them will, and the reason for it is because they were designed to only hold single stack mags. All of them have been milled out, so that way they can accept double rounds, double stack mags. In the process, the machinery isn't the best. So as steady as I can hold the gun with my foot and hand, that's the amount of wobble I get off of mine. So it's not that bad. Switching out from different magazines might work out a little bit better. You can try Tapco magazines. You can do like Bulgarian steel case magazines. This is a Romanian one. And I didn't have any issues. When I was firing, I was also wiggling the mag to see if I was going to get any malfunctions, and none whatsoever. So that is my review. I give this gun overall a 9.5. The only reason why I don't give it a 10 is 0.1 is deducted because of the poor machinery to the mag well, which isn't really a problem because it doesn't affect firing the gun. And the other deduction was because of the finish. I just, I mean, if you're sending out guns, the least you could do is at least sand it down so that it's smooth. It's like they didn't even do it. It's like they ran it through one time to shape the wood, and boom, that was it. And they were done, and then slapped together. So for those out there who are looking at getting a Wasr, I think for the buy, I think it's a great gun. I give it full stars, 2 thumbs up. I think it's a great gun. For the price, I paid again about $5.50 for mine because I'm in California. Some of you guys out there might get it a little cheaper. So if you have the chance to own one and you're thinking about it, I definitely think go ahead, as long as you can inspect the rifle and check for those minor key points. And if those all check out, then chances are you have a really solid gun. Another thing that they complain about a lot is the bolt carrier getting stuck. I'm not going to rack it and show you because I only have one hand, or maybe I can. A lot of it like that right there, a lot of that has to do with the bolt carrier getting caught on the hammer as it's getting sliding back and forth. Naturally, if that really becomes an issue, I mean, you could always kind of wear down the hammer a little bit to kind of, you know, take off some of the metal so that it doesn't have that issue. Realistically, when you're firing the gun and it's returning, it's not going to go that slow. I mean, when it comes to it, I mean, it's going to rack fast. I mean, as you can see, it doesn't stick whatsoever. Okay, so that's really not a big issue. Some guys out there it is, for others it's not. Again, I don't have any problems with racking my gun. Works out fine. The last thing I want to talk about is a myth that I decided to take on. Reading reviews, forums, checking out videos. A lot of guys say they have problems with hollow points. I bought 1,000 rounds WPA Military Classic, 7.62 by 39 millimeter, 124 grain hollow points, and they're steel casing. You can't really see it, but rest assured these are hollow points. And just to validate this, I got a few minutes real quick. I'm going to go ahead and grab a few rounds. And I'm going to put this down real quick. And I'm going to load my magazine. Oh, I'll tell you guys about this in another video. If you want, you can ask questions why I have to do that. It's California. So anyways, let's go ahead and let's hold it up there. So here we go. So these are hollow points. Again, I don't know if I'm in view here. Those are hollow points. And I'm going to load 4 of them just to show you. So again, people said hollow points leads to misfeeds, things of that nature. In this particular one, again, I didn't have that issue. So loaded up 4. There we go. We are good to go. As you can tell, hollow point still in my frame. And then we're going to go straight into the gun. So there we go. Let's try to keep this in frame as much as possible. So with that being said, you can clearly see the round is in there. And yeah, so here goes 4 rounds hollow points to see if we have any misfeeds. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So I just got done putting in 4 rounds, ejecting 4 rounds, and not a single misfeed. So rest assured, the myth about hollow points jamming because of the ammo, chances are it's not because of the ammo. It has something to do with the gun itself. Check your feed ramps, things of that nature to validate that. But again, hollow points, not an issue with the Wasr-10, at least not with mine. It's not to say that yours may or may not have issues, but that is what it is. So guys, I'd like to thank you for taking a look at my video. I will be posting some video of me shooting the beast when I get downrange and I get some time. Thanks again for looking. Please be safe out there and obey all laws in your state. Please don't be retarded and break the law because like here in California, 30 round magazines are illegal. So this one right here has rivets and pins in place to prevent me from adding any more rounds, limit 10. Because it's a long gun and it has a pistol grip, a number of other evil features. I cannot have a readily detachable magazine. I cannot detach this magazine with my hand. So that's why I use the tool. Pretty much anything will fit as long as it fits in this guy here. Once you slide it in, pops right out. Can't really show you because I don't have more than one hand. I only got 2 hands. So it pops out, pops that out, boom. Magazine's empty, and then you're good to go. So, because I live in the state of California, I have to abide by the rules. I'm not law enforcement or part of the government. So, there we have it. 10 round magazine, stop by this, and magazine lock to prevent me from detaching it. These are removable, as you can tell. These right here can't come off. They're Allen screws. And done. So if I ever decide to leave this horrible state, I could take this off, and the state that I go to, if I have 30 round mags, I can use them if it's legal in that state, or you know, who knows, maybe get a 100 round drum and really open this beast up. So there we go, guys. Be safe, have fun shooting, and yeah, I'll catch you guys on the range one day. Take care. Thumbs up for the Wasr.